My best friend got drunk at New Year's and said, "I need to tell you something about your husband." Then she passed out, and everyone suddenly wanted to leave. I stood there watching our guests grab coats and make excuses about babysitters and early flights. Within 10 minutes, our apartment was empty except for my husband and Melissa sprawled across our couch, mascara smeared down her cheeks. "She's hammered," my husband said, throwing a blanket over her. "You know how she gets with champagne." His voice was steady, too steady. That's when I noticed his hand shaking as he collected empty glasses. I didn't sleep that night. I lay beside my husband listening to him breathe, replaying the moment over and over. The way Melissa had grabbed my wrist, the desperate look in her eyes, how everyone had gone silent, the look that passed between my husband and his brother before they both suddenly remembered they had somewhere else to be. I kept thinking about the past few months, the late nights at the office, the new cologne, how he'd started going to the gym at weird hours, things I'd brushed off as normal. Melissa woke up around 7 a.m., groaning. I handed her water and aspirin, then sat down across from her. "What did you need to tell me?" I asked. Her face went pale. "About what?" "About my husband." She stared at her coffee for a long moment. Her hands were shaking. "I don't remember saying that." "Melissa, I was drunk. I probably said something stupid." She wouldn't meet my eyes. She'd been my best friend since college. I knew when she was lying. "Look at me," I said quietly. She finally did. Her eyes filled with tears. "If you don't tell me, I'll just assume the worst," I continued. "Is that what you want?" "I can't," she whispered. "It'll destroy everything." "It's already destroyed." She left without saying another word. After she was gone, I started looking. I didn't know what I was looking for, but I looked anyway. Bank statements were clean. His phone was an endless scroll of work emails and baseball scores. Credit cards showed nothing but gas stations and lunch spots near his office. Nothing suspicious, nothing wrong, except everything felt wrong. My husband noticed me watching him. "You okay?" he asked one morning. "You've been quiet." "Just tired," I said. "Melissa still feeling bad about New Year's?" "She doesn't remember it." "See? Just drunk talk." He kissed my forehead and left for work. At work the next week, my husband's colleague stopped by my office. We'd met a few times at company events. She asked if I had a minute, then closed the door. "I debated whether to tell you this," she said, sitting down. "But if it was me, I'd want to know." She pulled out her phone and showed me a photo. My husband, at a restaurant I didn't recognize, with someone sitting across from him. The photo was taken from a distance, partially obscured by other diners, but I could see my husband's hand covering theirs across the table. "When was this?" 4 months ago. September, I think. "I thought maybe you knew, that you had some arrangement. But then I saw you at the holiday party and the way you looked at him," she trailed off. "I realized you had no idea." I stared at that photo until it blurred. The other person's face was turned away, mostly hidden. "Did you take this?" "No. Someone sent it to me. They thought I should know since we work together." I thanked her and she left. I sat there staring at that photo until my screen went black. Then I called Melissa. "You knew," I said when she answered. Silence. "How long have you known? Please don't make me do this." Her voice was barely a whisper. "How long have you known?" "Since August. I came back early from a work trip and went to your brother's apartment. The door was unlocked. I walked in and they were on the couch together. My stomach dropped. My brother? I'm so sorry. I should have told you right away, but they begged me not to. Said it had been going on since your wedding and they were going to end it. That telling you would just cause pain for no reason since it was already over." "Since my wedding?" The room was spinning. "My wedding was 2 years ago." "I know." She was crying now. "I'm so sorry. I believed them when they said it was ending. But then I kept seeing little signs. The way they'd look at each other. How your husband always had an excuse to leave when your brother left Sunday dinners. So on New Year's, I got drunk enough to finally say something. And then I passed out like an idiot. "My brother," I said again. My brain couldn't process it. "I'm so sorry." I hung up. Sat there in my office with the phone still pressed to my ear. My brother. The same brother who'd introduced me to my husband at a barbecue 4 years ago. Who'd given a speech at our wedding about how happy he was that his best friend was marrying his sister. Who'd helped us move into our apartment. Who came over every Sunday for dinner. Every Sunday. All those Sundays. All those times I'd left them alone while I cooked. While I ran errands, while I trusted them. I called my brother. "Hey," he answered. Casual, normal, like he always did. "We need to talk," I said. "About what?" "You know what?" He was quiet for so long I thought he'd hung up. Then he said, "When did you find out?" Not a denial, not confusion, just when. "How long?" My voice didn't sound like mine. "Does it matter?" "How long?" He sighed. "Since your wedding. Maybe a little before. I don't know exactly when it started. 2 years. They'd been doing this for 2 years. My husband and my brother, while I cooked dinner and made plans and talked about maybe trying for a baby. While I bought my brother birthday presents and invited him to every holiday. While I existed in their orbit, completely oblivious. "Where?" I asked. "What? Where did you do it?" "In my house. In my bed. Never your house," he said quietly, like that made it better. "Usually my place. Sometimes hotels." I thought about all the times my husband said he was working late. All the times my brother canceled plans at the last minute. How they'd always been close. How I'd thought it was nice that they got along so well. How stupid I'd been. Does anyone else know? Just Melissa. She walked in on us in August. She was supposed to be out of town. That's why she'd been so weird lately. Why she'd avoided me for months. Why she'd started making excuses not to come to Sunday dinners. Why she'd gotten drunk and tried to tell me. "I'm coming over," I said. "I don't think that's a good idea." "I don't care what you think." I drove to my brother's apartment. The same apartment I'd helped him find when he first moved to the city. The same apartment where I'd helped him paint walls and assemble furniture, where I'd stayed on his couch when my husband and I had our first big fight. The irony wasn't lost on me. When he opened the door, I just stood there looking at him. He looked the same. Same face I'd known my entire life. Same person who'd taught me to ride a bike, who'd threatened my first boyfriend, who'd walked me down the aisle when our dad was too sick to do it, who'd held me when dad died 6 months later. "Can I come in?" I asked. He stepped aside. His apartment was exactly how I remembered it. Nothing had changed, except everything had changed. I looked at his couch and wondered how many times they'd sat there together. His bedroom door was visible from where I stood. I felt sick. "Say something," he said. "What do you want me to say?" "I don't know. Yell, scream, something." I sat down on his couch, the same couch where he and my husband had probably sat. Maybe kissed, maybe more. My stomach churned. "Does he love you?" I asked. My brother looked at the floor. "I think so." "Do you love him?" "Yes." The word hung between us. Simple. Devastating. "Since when?" I asked. He sat down across from me, not on the couch, on the chair, maintaining distance. "I don't know. It just happened. We'd hang out while you were at work. Started as just talking. Then it became more. And you didn't think to tell me? How? How do you tell your sister something like that? By telling me. By giving me a choice. By not making me the idiot who had no idea her entire life was a lie. It wasn't like that. Then what was it like? Explain it to me. Make me understand how you could do this." He ran his hands through his hair. Same gesture my husband made when he was stressed. Had they picked that up from each other? How many little things had I missed? "At first it was just friendship," he said. "We had a lot in common. Similar interests. We'd grab beers after work sometimes. You were always busy with your projects, and I was lonely. He was there. So this is my fault? Because I was too busy? No. God, no. I'm not saying that. I'm just trying to explain how it started. Keep going. One night, right before your wedding, we had too much to drink. Things got blurred. We kissed. Just once. We both freaked out. Agreed it was a mistake and wouldn't happen again. But it did. Yeah, it did. On your honeymoon, actually. He called me from the hotel. Said he couldn't stop thinking about it. About me. When you got back, he showed up at my door. Said he couldn't live without trying. And I felt the same way. I closed my eyes. While I'd been on my honeymoon, swimming in the ocean and planning our future, my husband had been calling my brother, confessing his feelings, planning their affair. So you just decided to start sleeping together. Just like that. We tried to stop. Multiple times. But we couldn't. Every time we'd end it, one of us would reach out. It was like an addiction. Don't romanticize this. You weren't addicted. You were selfish, both of you. You're right. Is he leaving me? I asked. I don't know. We haven't talked about it. You've been sleeping with him for 2 years and you haven't talked about what happens next? Every time we tried to have that conversation, it got too real, too scary. So we just kept existing in this bubble where we didn't have to make decisions. I stood up. I need to go. Wait, just don't. I drove home. My husband was there cooking dinner like nothing was wrong. Pasta, my favorite. The smell made me nauseous. He looked up when I walked in and smiled. That same smile I'd fallen in love with. "You're home early. I'm making your favorite." "I know about you and my brother," I said. The smile disappeared. His face went white. The wooden spoon clattered into the sink. "How long have you known?" he asked. "Since today. Melissa finally told me what she saw in August." He leaned against the counter, gripped it like it was the only thing keeping him upright. "I was going to tell you." "When? Before or after our anniversary next month?" I didn't know how. "Try being honest. That usually works." He turned off the stove, sauce still bubbling in the pot. "Can we sit down?" "I don't want to sit down. I want to know why. Why him? Why at all?" "It's complicated." "No, it's really not. You either wanted to be with me or you didn't. You chose didn't. You just didn't have the guts to tell me. I do want to be with you. I love you. You have a funny way of showing it. It's true. I love you. But I also..." He stopped. "You also what? Love him? Love him more? It's different." "Different how?" He ran his hands through his hair. That gesture again. "With you, everything is safe, predictable. We have a good life. We have routines. We know what to expect from each other. But with him, it's what? Exciting, intense, new, things I can't explain." I laughed. Actually laughed. It came out harsh and bitter. "You're having a midlife crisis. That's what this is. You're bored with our marriage, so you're sleeping with my brother. It's not that simple." "It is exactly that simple. You got bored. Instead of talking to me about it, instead of suggesting counseling or a change, you decided to fuck my brother." He flinched. "Please don't." "Don't what? Tell the truth? Use crude language? What part of this is offensive to you? I never meant to hurt you. But you did. You hurt me in the worst possible way. You didn't just cheat on me. You cheated on me with my brother, the person I trust most in the world besides you. You took the 2 most important relationships in my life and destroyed them both. I'm sorry. I don't care if you're sorry." I went to our bedroom and started packing, grabbed clothes without looking. Toiletries, important documents. He followed me. "What are you doing?" "Leaving." "Where are you going?" "Does it matter?" "Please don't do this. We can work through this. Go to counseling. Figure it out." I stopped packing and looked at him. Really looked at him. "Do you even hear yourself? You slept with my brother for 2 years. And you want to work through it? People make mistakes. This wasn't a mistake. Mistakes are one-time things. You made a choice. Every single day for 2 years, you chose to lie to me. You chose him over me. Over and over again. That's not fair." "Fair? You want to talk about fair?" My voice was rising. I couldn't control it anymore. "Was it fair when you kissed him before our wedding? When you called him from our honeymoon? When you touched him? When you told him things you should have told me? when you built a whole secret life behind my back? I know. I'm sorry. Stop saying you're sorry. It doesn't mean anything. I finished packing and carried my suitcase to the front door. He stood there watching me, looking lost, looking like he wanted to reach for me but knew he couldn't. So that's it? He asked. You're just leaving? What did you think would happen? That I'd forgive you and we'd all have dinner together? I thought we'd at least talk about it. There's nothing to talk about. You made your choice. Now live with it. I drove to Melissa's apartment. My hands were shaking so badly I had to pull over twice. When she opened the door and saw me standing there with my suitcase, she started crying. I'm so sorry, she said. I should have told you in August, the second I saw them, but they begged me, said they'd already decided to end it, that it was just a stupid mistake that had gone on too long, and I believed them. I thought I was protecting you from unnecessary pain. How long have you been carrying this? I asked. Since August. 5 months of watching you be happy while knowing the truth. It's been killing me. That's why I got drunk on New Year's. I couldn't take it anymore. I'm glad you tried, I said. Even if it didn't work out the way you planned. Can I do anything? Cook you dinner? Get you drunk? Murder them both? I almost smiled. Can I just stay here for a while? Stay as long as you need. She made up her couch for me. We sat together in silence, drinking wine and not talking about it. Around midnight, my phone started ringing. My husband, then my brother, then my husband again. I turned it off. What are you going to do? Melissa asked. I don't know. Divorce him, probably. But beyond that, I trailed off. What about your brother? What about him? Are you going to talk to him again? Ever? I don't know that either. Right now, I don't want to see either of them. Maybe that'll change. Maybe it won't. I stayed at Melissa's for 8 days. During that time, my husband called 197 times. My brother called 89. My mom called 15 times asking what was going on because my husband had called her saying I'd left. I didn't answer any of them. Finally, I sent my mom a text. Everything's fine. Just need some space. I'll call you soon. On day 9, I went to see a lawyer. Her name was Patricia, and she had kind eyes and a no-nonsense attitude that I appreciated. I told her everything, every detail. She took notes without judgment. Do you want to file for divorce? She asked. Yes. Okay. We'll need to discuss assets, property division, all of that. But first, I have to ask. Are you sure? Because once we start this process, it's hard to go back. I'm sure. We spent the next 2 hours going over details. What we owned together, bank accounts, the apartment lease, his 401k, my investments. It was all so clinical and cold, reducing 2 years of marriage to a list of items to be divided. When I left her office, my brother was waiting outside. He looked terrible, like he hadn't slept in days. Dark circles under his eyes, wrinkled clothes, unshaven. How did you know I was here? I asked. Melissa told me. I made a mental note to talk to Melissa about boundaries. We need to talk, he said. I have nothing to say to you. Please, just 5 minutes. We sat on a bench outside the building, cold January wind cutting through my coat. I waited. I'm sorry, he started. I know that doesn't mean anything, but I am. What I did was unforgivable. You're right. It doesn't mean anything. He ended it, my brother said quietly. After you left, he said he couldn't do it anymore, that he'd made a terrible mistake. Congratulations. You both made mistakes. I know you hate me. I hate myself, but you're my sister. You're the only family I have that matters. Mom's in Florida with her new husband. I barely know her anymore. You're all I have. You should have thought about that before you slept with my husband. He was crying now, not just tears, full sobs. People walking past us were staring. I know. I don't know what happened. It started so small, and then it became this thing I couldn't control. You could have controlled it. You chose not to. You're right. We sat there in silence. People walked past us, living their normal lives, going to work, meeting friends, having normal problems, not dealing with the implosion of their entire family. Are you in love with him? I asked. I thought I was, but now I don't know. Maybe I just loved the idea of him, of having something that felt forbidden and exciting, of feeling wanted in a way I hadn't felt in years. That's pathetic. I know. You destroyed my marriage for something you're not even sure about. I know. And now what? You're alone. He's alone. I'm alone. We all lose. What do you want me to say? I want you to tell me why. Really why. Not the bullshit about being lonely or it feeling exciting. I want the truth. He was quiet for a long time. Finally, he said, Dad died and I felt like I was drowning. You had your husband. Mom was already gone, moved across the country. I had nobody, and your husband was there. He understood. He'd lost his own dad 2 years earlier. We bonded over that. And somewhere in that bonding, it became something else. You're using Dad's death as an excuse? No, I'm just trying to explain. I was in a dark place. I made terrible choices, but they felt right at the time. They felt like the only thing keeping me alive. I stood up. I need you to stay away from me, at least for now. I can't look at you without feeling sick. How long? I don't know. Maybe forever. I walked away. Behind me, I heard him crying. I didn't look back. The divorce took 8 months to finalize. My husband tried to fight it at first, hiring his own lawyer, claiming we could still work things out. Then he gave up when his lawyer told him he didn't have a case. We split everything down the middle. I got half the savings, half the furniture, and my dignity back. During those 8 months, I lived with Melissa. I threw myself into work, got a promotion, started therapy twice a week, tried to figure out who I was without him. It was harder than I expected. We'd been together since college. 7 years total. 2 married. I didn't really know how to be alone. My therapist was a woman named Dr. Brighton. She was in her 60s, had been through 2 divorces herself. She didn't judge, just listened and occasionally asked questions that made me think. Do you think you'll ever forgive them? She asked one session. I don't know. Some days I think maybe. Other days I'm so angry I want to burn their lives to the ground. That's normal. Is it normal to check my brother's social media every day? To see if he's posting about someone new? To feel sick when I see him smiling? Yes. You're grieving. Not just the marriage, the relationship with your brother, the life you thought you had. That takes time. How much time? As long as it takes. There's no timeline for healing. My mom called constantly wanting to know what happened. Finally, I told her. Not everything. Just enough. We grew apart. Wanted different things. The actual truth felt too humiliating to share. I never liked him, she said, which was a lie. She'd loved him, treated him like the son she'd always wanted. It's okay, Mom. It's over now. And your brother? You two aren't talking? Not right now. That's sad. You were always so close. People change. Well, I hope you two work it out eventually. Family is important. I wanted to scream at her, to tell her what family had done to me, but I didn't. Just said, yeah, we'll see. When the divorce was finalized in September, I moved into my own apartment. Small, but mine. 1 bedroom, decent kitchen, balcony that overlooked a busy street. I painted the walls bright colors and bought furniture I actually liked. Started building a life that was completely separate from him. My brother tried to reach out several times. Emails, texts, voice messages. I ignored all of them. I wasn't ready. Didn't know if I'd ever be ready. Then, in December, almost a year after I'd left my husband, my mom called. Her voice was shaky. I need to tell you something, she said. What's wrong? It's cancer, pancreatic, stage 4. The world tilted. What? When did you find out? Last week. They're giving me 6 months, maybe less. I'm coming down there. There's something else. Your brother is here. He's been helping me. I need you both here. Together. My stomach dropped. Mom, please. I'm dying. I need both my children. I don't have time for whatever happened between you two. I flew to Florida the next day. When I arrived at Mom's house, my brother was there. We hadn't seen each other in almost a year. He looked different. Older, thinner, gray hair at his temples that hadn't been there before. Hey, he said. Hey. We stood there awkwardly until Mom called from her bedroom. Are you two just going to stand there, or are you going to come see me? Mom looked small in her bed, nothing like the strong woman who'd raised us. The cancer had already taken so much from her. My babies, she said, reaching for both our hands. Together, again. My brother and I sat on opposite sides of her bed, didn't look at each other. Mom talked for a while, about her life, her regrets, things she wished she'd done differently, how she should have stayed with Dad instead of leaving after we'd grown up, how she'd wasted years with her new husband who didn't really care about her, how she should have been there more for both of us. I need you two to make peace, she said. I can't die knowing my children hate each other. Mom, I started. I don't know what happened. Your brother won't tell me, but I know it's bad. I know you haven't spoken in almost a year, and I know life is too short for this. Whatever it is, you need to forgive each other. My brother was crying. I'm so sorry. For everything. I'd take it all back if I could. Some things can't be taken back, I said. Mom looked at me. What happened? I glanced at my brother. He shook his head slightly, pleading with me not to tell her. We just grew apart, I said. Made different choices. Mom wasn't stupid. She knew I was lying, but she was too tired to push. Life is short. Don't waste it being angry. Over the next few days, my brother and I fell into an uncomfortable routine. We'd take turns sitting with Mom, cooking meals, managing her medications. We barely spoke, just existed in the same space, orbiting around her like distant planets. One night after Mom had fallen asleep, we both ended up in the kitchen. I was making tea. He was getting water. She's getting worse, he said. I know. The hospice nurse said maybe 2 weeks, maybe less. I heard. We stood there in silence. Finally, he said, I miss you. Don't. I know I don't have the right, but it's true. You're my sister. I miss talking to you. Miss having you in my life. You gave that up when you slept with my husband. I know. I just thought after all this time, it's been less than a year. That's not a long time. It feels like forever. I poured my tea. I'm going to bed. Wait, can I just say one thing? Fine. I'm not with him. Haven't been since you left. I know that doesn't change anything, but I wanted you to know. Why would I care? Because you're my sister. And despite everything, I still want you to know what's happening in my life. Well, now I know. Good night. Mom died on Christmas Eve, quietly in her sleep, with both of us holding her hands. My brother fell apart, completely shattered. I stayed numb, went through the motions, planned the funeral, made arrangements, did what needed to be done. At the funeral, people came up to us saying how sorry they were, how Mom was in a better place, how at least we had each other. I wanted to laugh at that last one. We didn't have each other. We had nothing. After everyone left, my brother and I sat in Mom's house going through her things. It felt wrong, invasive, like we were stealing from her. Do you remember when we were kids? He asked, holding up an old photo of us. We couldn't have been more than 6 and 8, smiling, covered in mud from playing in the backyard. Before everything got complicated? Yeah, I remember. Can we ever get back to that? I looked at him, really looked at him. He looked broken, hollowed out, like the past year had destroyed him as much as it had destroyed me. No, I said. Too much has happened. So that's it? We just stopped being siblings? I don't know what we are anymore. I'm still your brother. Are you? Because brothers don't do what you did. Brothers protect their sisters. They don't sleep with their husbands. He flinched. I can't change what I did. I know. That's the problem. We finished going through Mom's things in silence. When it was done, we stood outside her house. Everything packed, ready to be shipped or donated. What happens now? He asked. I go back to my life. You go back to yours. And we just never talk again? I don't know. Maybe. Probably. I can't accept that. You don't have a choice. I drove back to the airport, left him standing there in front of Mom's empty house. Didn't look back. 2 years passed. I built a new life, dated a few people. Nothing serious. Started a business with Melissa doing graphic design. Made new friends who didn't know about my past, who just knew me as I was now, not the person I'd been. Then one day, out of nowhere, my brother showed up at my apartment. I almost didn't recognize him. He'd lost more weight, looked tired, worn down. "What are you doing here?" I asked. "I needed to see you. How did you even find my address?" Melissa told me. I made another mental note about boundaries. "I can't do this anymore," he said. "I can't live knowing you hate me. It's killing me." Good. He looked like I'd slapped him. "You really mean that?" "I don't know what I mean. I just know I'm tired. Tired of thinking about this. Tired of being angry. Tired of grieving. Then let's stop. Let's just try. Please." I should have said no. Should have closed the door. But I was tired. So tired of carrying this weight. "Fine. Come in." We sat in my living room. My space. My furniture. My life that he'd never been part of. "I've been in therapy," he said, "for almost a year now. Congratulations. She's helping me understand why I did what I did. It doesn't excuse it, but it helps me make sense of it. I don't care about your therapy revelations. I was in love with him for years. Since before you even met him. That got my attention." "What?" "When I introduced you to at that barbecue, I'd already been in love with him for months. We worked together, got close. I thought maybe he felt the same way. But then he met you, and that was it. He chose you. So you introduced us anyway? I thought if I couldn't have him, at least I could keep him in my life. Watch him be happy, even if it wasn't with me." "That's sick." "I know. And then you got married, and I thought I was okay with it. Thought I'd moved on, but I hadn't. And when Dad died and we got close again, everything came rushing back." I stared at him. "You've been lying to me for 4 years. Not just about the affair. About everything." "Yes." "Get out." "What?" "Get out of my apartment. Get out of my life. I gave you a chance and somehow you made it worse. Please." "No. I thought maybe, just maybe, we could find some way forward. But you've been lying to me since the beginning. This wasn't just a mistake. This was premeditated. You wanted him. You waited. You took him. It wasn't like that. Get out." He left. I locked the door behind him and slid down to the floor. All this time, I'd thought it was just about the affair. But it was so much bigger. So much worse. He'd orchestrated our entire relationship. Used me to stay close to the man he loved. I called my therapist. Emergency session. Told her everything. "How do you feel?" she asked. "Empty." I thought I had nothing left to grieve, but apparently I do. I have to grieve the brother I thought I had, the one who never actually existed. What do you want to do? I don't know. Cut him off completely, I guess. What else is there? Is that what you want? Or what you think you should want? I thought about it. Really thought about it. I want to not care anymore. I want to wake up one day and realize I haven't thought about him in weeks. I want to be free of this. Then that's what we'll work toward. I blocked my brother's number. Blocked him on social media. Told Melissa in no uncertain terms that she was not allowed to give him any information about me. Cut him out completely. And slowly, gradually, I started to feel lighter. Started to feel like myself again. Now it's been 5 years since I left my husband. Almost 4 years since Mom died. I'm not the person I was. I'm harder, more careful, less trusting, but I'm okay. I still think about my brother sometimes. Wonder if he's happy, if he found someone, if he thinks about me too. But those thoughts come less frequently now. Maybe once a month instead of every day. I never saw my ex-husband again. Heard through mutual acquaintances that he moved to another state. Started over. Good for him. I run the graphic design business with Melissa. We're doing well. Making good money, building something that's entirely ours. Last month I got a letter, forwarded from my old address, from my brother. I almost threw it away without reading it, but curiosity got the better of me. Inside was a single page, his handwriting. "I know you don't want to hear from me. I know I have no right to reach out, but I needed you to know that I understand now. What I took from you, what I destroyed. My therapist says I need to make amends, but I know there's no amending this. So instead, I just want to say, I'm sorry. Not because I expect forgiveness, but because you deserve to hear it. You deserved better than what I gave you, better than what he gave you. You deserved honesty and loyalty and love without conditions. I hope you found that. I hope you're happy. I hope someday you can think about me without feeling sick. That's all I want. Your brother." I read it twice. Then I put it in a drawer. Didn't respond. Didn't acknowledge it. Just let it exist. Maybe someday I'll write back. Maybe I won't. Right now, I'm okay with the uncertainty. What I know is this. I survived. I rebuilt. I'm living a life that's entirely mine, and that's enough.